Lonely Dr. Whooves, Chapter 10 Revelations. Moonlily was disturbed as her camp came into view. The flag post in the middle of the camp did not carry her banner resembling the crescent moon anymore. Instead, it carried the crossed horns on red ground that represented the Inquisition's presence. Her soldiers were loyal to her, so she would not have to worry about the Earth pony's safety. Some pony, however, had told on her, which disturbed her greatly. The Inquisition had tried to get a hold on her for a while now, since they did not agree with her methods most of the time. Ever since she had been stationed here, they had tried to force her to lead an advance against the Earth ponies, but as a field commander, she had the last word at the matter. She wouldn't have put it past them to have a hoof in the occasional breaking of her defensive shield. Before her group passed the gates of her encampment, she instructed the soldiers to escort their passenger into her tent and then guard the perimeter. No pony was to be allowed into its vicinity, unless herself. The soldiers seemed uneasy at the prospect of keeping the Inquisitors away from something they wanted to see, but she knew they were veterans, only loyal to their commander, who had saved their lives countless times. Even Princess Platinum herself wouldn't be able to let them do something against their commander's will. For the moment, their commander was herself, the sister to the pony who had saved them so often. They would obey her orders. That much she knew. Moonlily parted with them behind the gates and watched them trotting towards her tent. Now she was glad that Sunflower had sent the most loyal and reliable soldiers with her. Had her sister anticipated something like this might happen? Her frown deepened as she approached the center of her camp. There, in the dim light of the fire, stood a stallion with a black coat, mane, and tail. Even without seeing his cutie mark, she recognized the stallion who had once asked her to marry him and held a grudge against her ever since she had refused him. "Freeway! What brings you here? So last time we met, I'm pretty sure I made a decent attempt of caving your head in." Moonlily greeted the stallion with a fake joy in her voice. The doctor lay in bed, staring at the banner above. It just didn't make sense. Why was there a vortex tunnel here? But he was disturbed in his thoughts as the tent flaps opened. As he looked up, two soldiers supported a white-coated mare into the tent. What robbed his speech, however, was neither her beauty nor the state she was in. Not even the bloody bandages around her flank startled him. It was her cutie mark that caught his eye, which matched his perfectly. He wanted to clear the bed to let her lay down, but she shook her head and settled down next to the bed instead. Her black-rimmed glasses were taped at several places, as if they had been repaired several times. It was just now that he had noticed the blood-stained feathers poking out from under her bandages, in addition with her horn that made her an alicorn. Up to now, he had only known of the two princesses and their niece. Encountering another alicorn just added to his shock. "Are my wings that interesting to you?" she asked with a gentle voice that could not quite hide her amusement of his shocked face. No, sorry for starring. I was just not expecting an alicorn to lead a group of unicorns." She chuckled. "Oh, I am in no way this unit's commander. I hate fighting. I am some pony who can relate to who you are, however." "Doctor?" "What? You know who I am? And your cutie mark? Wait, could you be the professor by any chance?" Now it was the professor's turn to look shocked. "You know my name?" "Well, a recent acquaintance of mine asked me if I was you, and told me a story about a time pony helping ponykind in dark times. Figures that would be you. I tried to help at least, but my last attempt of helping them led to the mess the unicorns are in right now. I tried to convince the three tribes to work together, but only the commanders of the Pegasi and Earth Pony armies listened to me. They still don't like each other, but have stopped attacks on their respective borders for now and concentrate their forces on the Unicorn Republic." "How come the unicorn leadership refused? I mean, working together would certainly be to every pony's benefit." "Well, Princess Platinum is an insufferable nag, you see. She has it in her mind that unicorns are to be the ruling race. But doctor, that surely isn't what I came here for in my condition. There are things you must know, and my body won't last for long. It is an enormous strain on my magic, just to keep the pain at bay, or I'd be in a coma by now." "But why don't you just regenerate? If you time ponies are anything like us Time Lords, you should be able to." "First, You must understand something, Doctor. The blood-stained alicorn shifted uncomfortable on the carpet next to the bed on which she lay. The Great Time War. In your world, it was stopped by you. In this one, you lead the Time Ponies' forces to unify the universe under their banner. The Doctor gasped. He, the last Time Lord, leading the charge against all of the universe? Could his counterpart in this universe really be that different? Your counterpart was not too happy when I objected his war plans in the Grand Council. After a few attempts on my life by thugs, I made a foolish mistake. He asked me out for dinner to discuss our differences, he said. I was suspicious, but I hate fighting, so I went anyway. After the meal was finished, however, he leaned over to me. I don't care if you oppose me anymore. Soon you will die anyway, and you won't be able to regenerate to save your life, he whispered into my ear. And it was then that I realized that my salad had been unusually sweet. You may guess what he put in there, but I'm telling you anyway. It was concentrated pear juice, the only poison that works against Time Ponies. What a cruel thing to do, the Doctor shouted. The Doctor had sat up in bed, driven by his anger. Pears could temporarily block the ability to regenerate, but that was only if the dosage was low. On a high enough dosage, however, it could destroy that ability completely. As if that hadn't been bad enough, it also destroyed most of the victim's ability to control the regeneration energy inside their bodies. In most cases, that led to internal decay, which never ended pretty. Pears turned the energy they used to extend their lives outright against them. The professor watched in silence while the Doctor's gears turned. She felt that her life would end soon, but rushing things now would only have put her plan at risk. She had failed to stop him, and now had to trust this stallion. Even so, what she had to say next might make him kill her, but she didn't care. She wouldn't see another sunrise anyway. Even so, she regretted to have put such a heavy burden on her adopted daughters, but it couldn't be helped. She had brought the alliance between Pegasus and Earth Ponies to life. That had killed their parents, so she had taken care of them, for history's sake. She noticed the Doctor looking at her as she was lost in her thoughts. So, what did you come here to tell me? Traveling in your condition can't be pleasant. Please listen to what I have to say until the end. I will accept any wrath you have afterwards. Can you promise me that? The Doctor thought for a moment, but then nodded. This mare was dying, and yet had come here to tell him something. He could not help her, but he had a feeling that what she had to say was very important. Okay, I will start at the very beginning. Back then, before I was poisoned, I was trying to protect this planet from the Time War's influence. Sometimes I went back to Gallifrey, trying to oppose the Council and rally a resistance. I soon realized, however, that I wouldn't be able to stop them, and I didn't get any supporters to help me in my cause. That was when I, one day, discovered a magic mirror in a ruin. As I inspected it, I discovered that it was a trans-dimensional portal. I don't have to mention that I used it. And imagine my surprise when I found that this portal changed my appearance to that of a human. Indeed, I ended up in the world you live in the exact same spot where you were just materializing your TARDIS. Due to that fact, I ended up inside and hid myself from you. Oh, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't scared or afraid of you. I recognized the concept of your machine, but it was so alien. I wanted to study it for a while, so I hid. Everything was pretty easy after I had found the manual link to the telepathic circuit. It was quite easy to review your TARDIS memories. I was shocked to learn you were the last of your kind and that it was you who had stopped the Great Time War in your world. That was when my plan came to life. You had done it before, so you may be able to help me in my universe as well. So I programmed the autopilot to a specific time-dimensional rift, the same one that this portal used. The next step was to block your TARDIS's ability to travel too far into the future once you were here. I also started to steal remnant facilities of your race, sending them through the rift. To do that, I brought my own means of transportation into your world. Also, I started to prepare Moon Lily to help you in your task. I named her the dates and places on which you were to meet you and what she had to do to help you. So now you know why and how it came to be that you are here. Even I have to say that I didn't expect you to come here with your TARDIS. A heavy silence fell over the tent as the information he just received sank in. He had ended the last time war. That much was true. But he never wanted to have to do something like that again. How could this mare dare to meddle with his life as if he was just a mere chess piece? And above all, how could she dare to mess with his TARDIS? So, are you mad at me now? The doctor wanted to say yes, but there was a part of him that stopped him. Wouldn't he have done the exact same thing had he been in the same situation? After all, he had always done what had to be done, even if it meant discomfort for others. In the end, the doctor shook his head. No, I understand why you did it, and I might have done the same thing. Don't misunderstand me, though. This doesn't mean you scored any points with me. If anything, you are in the red. What is more, I don't have my TARDIS with me. She's still in that dry dock you stole, and I grabbed the wrong device before I jumped into the vortex gate. Now it was the professor's turn to gasp. She had planned everything out, but not that the doctor might lose his TARDIS. But she relaxed immediately. There was an emergency precaution she had taken, and now she was going to need it. Poco Tim, however, wouldn't like it. The requirements for it were rather unpleasant, but she would die soon anyway. She'd rather die on her own terms than succumbing to poison or 2 bolts to her flank. Did you take another device with you, then? A TARDIS control device, perhaps? How did you know that? Knowing my entire history to a certain point makes sense with what you told me, but this? With this, the doctor hoofed over the small cylinder which he had taken instead of the callback device. I know it may be rude to ask, but how often did you regenerate in the past? The professor ignored the doctor's question completely. 12 times so far. But why do you... But the doctor was interrupted mid-sentence, since the professor fiddled with the TARDIS control while her body glowed so soft and golden as if she wanted to regenerate after all. The professor looked at him, smiling gently. It was just now that he had a direct look into her eyes, into her amber eyes for the first time, that he suddenly knew whose bona fide counterpart she was. His muzzle dropped open, and tears formed in the corners of his eyes. You are... Shh. Don't say it. I am glad to have met you one last time. Of course you are not him, but yet you are so much more like the little colt who followed me around, much more than he is nowadays. You must stop him, no matter what, and that's why I give you my remaining 10 regenerations. I may not be able to use them myself, but I can give them to you. Do me the favor and treat her well, will you? The doctor did not know who she meant, but he nodded anyway. This strain would kill her, and he was sure she knew that. He didn't want her to leave this world with any worries or regrets, now that he knew who she was. But his thoughts were cut off as the golden aura around her moved over to him and slowly seeped into his body. A familiar warmth spread inside him as his own regeneration energy got replenished. Halfway through the process, he noticed that the professor's head dropped and the cylinder in her hooves began to beep an alarm tone. He knew what it meant. One of her hearts just stopped, he thought to himself before he fell unconscious. As he came to again, 2 mares looked down on him. One was a blue unicorn mare with a blue-grey mane and tail. The other a light green Pegasus with a white mane and tail. The professor lay lifeless on the carpet in front of the bed. He seems to come to. I hope he's all right. I'll have to give him a piece of my mind, though, when he comes to. Besides, I don't fancy being pulled somewhere against my will. You're lucky, though. Mine is dead, and I liked her too. She was a good pony. Don't you mourn her? You are kind of heartless, Poco Tim. Well, no I don't. I can still visit her in the past, remember? Yeah, but still. Who are you two? The doctor sat up, staring at the two mares, the Pegasus named Pocotim, now hovering over the professor's dead body. Oh, come on now. Not again. It's me. My thief? The doctor looked dumbstruck at the unicorn mare. Only one woman had ever called him my thief. You are the TARDIS? She sure is. And I'm Pocotim. Stands for Pony-Controlled Time Machine. Even so, I am not actually a machine. I'm a life form. And no machine really. I never really got how you Time Lords could stand machines. To be continued.